Hi, welcome to the final review of the regular season in 2023. After the Blues, we cop a loss. 11 goals, 773 to 16 goals, 9, 105 at Marvel Stadium. We played against the Giants and we lost. Shock horror. So much happened last night. So many things confused me last night after the game. But let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the week. And let's talk about what it all means. So I think, firstly, going into the game, going into the weekend, all of the predictors out the window. I was thinking it would probably be the Giants or the Dogs that we would eventually play. It just was another reminder that you never know what's happening. The whole league is unpredictable. Sport is unpredictable. This whole experience is unpredictable. And, we had a bit of context on a few things. Tex kicking the goals that he did the night before, putting him ahead of Charlie for the Coleman medal. So we knew going into the game, 2 goals needed to get that done. Bringing back the likes of Walsh, Chera, McGovern into the side, getting some Ks back into the legs. Another week into Harry Mackay as he gets back from, resumes full fitness after his injury. And so there was a bit happening. We rest Cripps, we rest Doc. I think it's a pretty privileged position that we've earned to be able to do such management at this point in the year. And so I went there thinking, we're the better side. Got a few outs. Motlop obviously as well comes out. And at the end of the day, when you really looked at it, the Giants playing for their life. That was it. That was a final for them in the sense of lose, season over, win, season alive. So pretty straightforward in that regard. I think the start of the game was interesting. I thought the energy at the start of the whole experience was pretty good. People were up and about. The game day experience now has evolved so quickly. You get to the stadium, however early you do. You got the besties just providing the energy outside the gates, just getting up and about. Everyone's excited. We know we're playing finals football. We know we've earned the right, and we know that there's one more game to go, and then it gets real again, or it gets real for the first time for a lot of us who have supported the club. Pre-game, the club started the Seven Nation Army. They gave it a crack. I love it. I really do. I think if it gets total buy-in, it can be very powerful to start a game. And I think if you look at the start of the game, the energy in the whole stadium was pretty high, I thought. And it just allows the voices to begin, kind of like a warm-up. And I really do hope that kicks off, because I think it can help. Every little bit of energy counts, and we'll touch on that shortly. And so that was interesting. I like it. Something different, getting the fans involved and all of that. My first perception in the first quarter was we are just way too good for them. That was how I was thinking about the game. I thought we were relatively sharp. The goals that the Giants were kicking were really off, turnover or off a mistake. But I thought for the majority of that first quarter, it was played in our front half and on our terms. And, we probably just weren't up enough, and we didn't get that reward. When we've watched this group now in particular, we kind of know the signs of when they're making the most of their opportunities and the dominance, or whether they're hanging on and getting scoreboard pressure against the flow of play. And I think it was probably more of the former, in control, didn't capitalize on most of the opportunities. And, we were up only a little bit. Charlie Curnow kicks his first goal, energy up and about. Charlie Curnow kicks his second goal, outright Coleman medalist, back-to-back. It's important. It was important. It wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was getting through unscathed. And if he won the Coleman, fantastic, great achievement. If he didn't win the Coleman, well, he still kicked 70-plus goals. And it would mark 2 consecutive years at the highest level for him, with context of what has happened in his career prior to that. So it's a remarkable achievement, irrespective of if he had have won the Coleman medal or not. So, but he did. So that was awesome. I was sitting right behind the goals up on level 2, pretty much where he kicked it. So I've got that memory in the bank for a lifetime now. And then, I think I think the Giants just really, they started kicking away in that second. We were getting caught out of position on transition. The Giants had kicked 4 in a row at one point. We did wrestle it back. I think the pressure that we know about this team, and it's become almost like a trademark now. Like, we know when we're at our best, what that intensity looks like across the 4 quarters. And I actually did think, relatively speaking, it was there for a half, maybe a little bit more. And it just sort of showed we were not as brave as what we have been with some of these kicks. It was a little bit safe. There was a little bit, it felt, I don't know if that was what was actually going on in their minds, but it kind of felt like, hey, we just want to get through this and get through to finals, and nobody wants to get injured and things of that nature. So, Blake Acres goes off with, they said collarbone in the moment. Vossi mentioned the word shoulder. Didn't look good. Hopefully he's okay. If he's not, this is finals. This is footy. This is life. It happens, and you just got to move on. It doesn't matter who it is. It can be your best player. It can be a fringe player. It's going to happen. It's a brutal sport. It's a contact sport, and the Giants were playing like a team who it was do or die in footy terms. So that was disappointing. There was a little incident with Jacob Wiedering, which I feel like's been blown out of proportion a bit. Toby Green slings Mitch McGovern to the ground, stays on top of him. Wiedering flying the flag. He's the captain. Goes to bring him up. He grabbed his face, and I think once he realised his eyes were in the vicinity of where Toby Green's eyes were in the vicinity of his fingers, he let go. The media will beat it up, or they'll try and beat it up as a story. We may be going to the tribunal. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was pretty minor, considering we've seen eye gouging in the league. Toby Green being a little bit cheeky after the game, having a bit of a dig at it as well, and that's all just in the spirit of it, competition in the game. So we'll see how that one plays out. But yeah, not much to add from that second half. George Hewitt goal on his left foot, that was actually pretty good. Once we got to the fourth, I had written down here, like, we've packed up. And it kind of felt that way, to be honest. There were, a lot of fans that left halfway through the fourth, and a bit of commentary around that after the game, a bit of commentary around... I'll tell you what, I'll be honest. I mean, there are tens of thousands of followers that I manage across the different platforms, and so I see all the comments, and I see everything. And I think last night, if I'm being dead honest, it's a bit of a buzzkill from the fans, if I'm being honest. And it's... I'm not saying this to create more division, but I'm just saying it from a personal experience, because you lost the game. It's disappointing. I felt like the reaction was similar to when we have those poor losses, or when it's panic stations, like earlier in the season where season was slipping away, and I felt like the reaction was born out of panic that the season could be dead and people are very invested. And so, no, I left the game thinking, yeah, lost, not great, but also season's done. The totality of the regular season has concluded, and this is where we find ourselves. We're fifth. That is what the final ladder will look like at the end of the regular season, and that's what the history books will say on record, that we finished fifth. And maybe I was just able to get there quicker than some others, but coming on the fan cams, I kind of expected a bit of a happy vibe, and it kind of wasn't. And that's the part I'm not quite on the same page. I don't quite understand, because what we have now is an opportunity to do something for the first time in a long time, and that's in experience a final for the first time together. Generations linking to experience a final together. So you got to be careful. I understand human nature. I really do. You can't tell people what to do and what to say and what to think. I think you can just try and create an environment where they sort of come to it themselves. But I think my perception and my thought about the whole experience last night was, this is a time to be excited. Last night was a loss. We had won 9 in a row. And I think also losing's not the worst thing with context. Maybe just in general, but you win 9 in a row. We haven't had a losing feeling in nearly 3 months. It's been 11 weeks if you include the bye. So we are a team, we are a supporter base that, let's be honest, we are used to losing. That's something a lot of us have grown up with. Like the win-loss percentage for a lot of the supporters, if not all of them, born, from the mid-90s or 2000s, 2010s onwards, it's a losing record. So it's nothing new. So if anything, it may serve. It depends how you view things. That's the other thing that needs to be taken into account. There's a school of thought. Momentum stopped. We've ruined it all. The 9-game streak, all the work we've done, it's done. It's over. And then there's the other school of thought, which is it's a loss. It's not a diabolical loss. It's not a season-ending loss. It's just a loss. And I think when you look overall and you zoom out and you look at the energy in which they played with for 4 quarters, it's probably 20-25% more I feel like they could have been giving over the course of the 4 quarters, maybe more. I don't know. So for me, there were more important things in the bigger picture than beating the Giants and making it 10 in a row. And that was to make sure we got through unscathed, particularly these guys who had come back off injury. Walsh, Chera, McGovern, I think are 3 really important pieces. I think they are 3 of our most important 8 players, maybe, considering what they do on the field in their position. So that was crucial. And I think Harry's the other one. He doesn't seem to be moving his body with the same confidence as what he had prior to hurting his knee, which makes sense. So getting these guys fit and available for the first final on the 8th of September was more important than anything else. And that's new. That's new. I don't think I've experienced too many games where the loss is not the most important thing. And it's not to gloss over it, and it's not to get ahead of myself. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe it's a sign of things to come. But I just feel like they've earned the right to play in a home final, and that is the most important notion right now. Nobody cares who said what when they said it. Nobody cares who predicted it 3 months ago. Nobody cares. It's just nobody cares. Nobody cares about your tweet. Nobody cares about your post. Nobody cares about I showed him or I showed her. Like it's so irrelevant. The most important thing is the 8th of September on the Friday night. We're going to a final. We're going to the MCG. So yeah, it was a mixed feeling, and we're going to lose again. It's going to happen. It may be in 2 weeks' time. I'm pretty confident that we've got enough to beat the Swans, but it's finals. You can't bank on anything. So, oh no, just a reminder. I've got some ways to go to really unify. But look, overall, it's over. Season's over. We can not fully reflect because it's not completely over yet. It's only the regular season that's come to an end. So we won't fully reflect yet, but in the short term, being in this position now, I'm excited, as I said, and really just grateful because I did not think we would be in this position at the end of round 13. I really mentally turned to a place of, okay, time to look for the future. And, oh, well, it's not going to be this year. So let's start looking at the pieces and the ideas for next year, next season. So to be here is awesome. The fact that it was a bit of a surprise, I think, adds another exciting layer to the story. And yeah, that's everything right now. That's absolutely everything. Player of the game, struggled a bit with this one, but I feel like it was probably Jacob Wiedering. Thought Tom De Koning was pretty solid as the sole ruckman as well, but I landed on Jacob Wiedering, and like I said, we're going to see what happens with this alleged eye gouge. I don't think there's much in it, but it creates a story in the AFL. It's full of drama, one day or the next. So that's that, and here we are. What about you? How'd you watch the game? What do you think of the game? Let me know in the comments below. We'll document for the last time in season 2023 for the regular season, the review, and we will go from there. So stand by, guys, because finals content is on the way. And just another reminder, with finals content means a finals pin. So be sure to get a hold of your BA pin. You can pre-order them now. The link is in the description. It's in the live chat if you're watching this on Premiere, and bring it on, I say. Let's do it. Go Blues.